Okay, I wanted to speak a little bit about the regulatory freeze. Specifically, Chelsea, can we talk about grants, funding sources, maybe the strategy? What are we seeing right now? What's the status of things that have been frozen or paused?
Oh man, okay. How much time do we have? Enough?
Yeah. How much wine is there?
Not enough. The Trump administration, the current administration, put a freeze on funding, particularly when it came to bill and IRA funding, with the intent that the agencies were going to go and review for 30 days. It was very much tied to the language that was used in the grant funds and where the grant funds were going. So if it was tied to the DEI initiatives, environmental justice, a lot of that was being reviewed for what the current administration deems as more equitable. There was a pause put on funding. It was supposed to last 30 days, and then there's been some court cases. So multiple judges have actually rescinded that order, and funding is supposed to be flowing. It is not, in all cases, actually flowing. There are other programs that are more tied to EJ issues, DEI issues, equitability in the environment. Those are still frozen.
Do you have any examples offhand? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Sure. So there's a big national program, and I'm not going to name a whole lot of names here, but there's a big national program that we're working under as a liaison group. And that program was supposed to come up with their RFP in March, and they have not been able to put that out, even though the funding has been congressionally approved, which in like 98% of these cases, Congress has already approved the funding. The funding has already gone out to the grantees or has already been put in the pocketbooks of the agencies that are distributing the funding, and it's still being held up, which...
Is there precedent for this? Have we seen this before?
So, yes, it was, I believe, I might screw this up, but I believe it was in the Nixon era, where there was impoundment happening, which basically meant that the executive branch was saying, we are telling you, Congress, that you cannot spend the money in the way that you've congressionally approved. That is illegal. That went through the court system. The court system determined that impoundment is illegal. We are now back to impoundment again in this day and age. So I think we're going to have a lot of fighting in the court system over whether or not these executive orders and presidential memorandums and kind of the legal backflipping is going to be able to stand up to the court system. I don't think it will. My crystal ball says no.
Right.
But they take a while. Courts take a while. So it's going to take a while for some of that.
We're already seeing litigation across the board on many of these administrative and executive orders too. So yeah. more of that to come, I'm sure.
More of that to come. The grant space, so I will say that over the last, 4 to 6 years, so it even predated, what's interesting here is it predated the Biden administration to the first Trump administration. There was a lot of money that went out in grants during the Trump administration, the first term. I don't believe that there is going to be enough of a tolerance in Congress, particularly with these Republican states that received a lot of money through grants and loans for various projects. I don't think that they're going to have the appetite to watch those projects just fall off the wayside. In particular, I've seen cases and heard of cases of rural folks, so farmers, who received a lot of money through the federal government. And the way that grants work is it's a reimbursable structure. They don't get their money up front. So you have these low-income, disadvantaged communities, even ones that don't necessarily qualify under that have spent a lot of their own funding to have their projects done with a promise from the federal government that we will repay you. That promise has now been broken. I can't imagine there being an appetite on any side of the aisle that says that that's okay.
I can add just one little, what we're forgetting here is the staffing problem.
Yes.
With my direct contacts in DC, there's a staffing issue. Who's even looking at the grant? Who's even, what are you going to do in 30 days when 30% of your staff don't even know if they have a job?
Right.
So we really have to get past some of the staffing issues before I think we'll start to see the release of that funding.
Right. And there's also a wonderful accountability system that I think not a lot of people think about when it comes to the federal government, but the federal government accounts for all that money. And so when you apply for a grant, we have clients that do this, and we help a lot with the grant administration side. We have to be able to account for every single dollar and cent spent, and where that was spent and how it was spent. And so there is a lot of paperwork and reporting that goes along with these grants when you accept that money from the federal government. And to your point, Dirk, if they don't have the staff behind the, the federal government saying, yes, we approve this, or what, it's just going to take so much longer to get projects implemented. And it's going to be a bottleneck for a while.